All right, welcome to the official Atlas Townhall. We are starting 5 minutes earlier today because we are having the guild time today. So we have Funcracker here on stage. Welcome, Funcracker.
Thanks a bunch, Santi. Good to be here.
Thanks for joining. So what we are doing today and what we are going to do in the next townhalls, in all townhalls, is that we are going to have a guild time 10 minutes or 5 minutes before the official start of the Star Atlas Townhall. So if you feel like if you're a guild member or guild leader and you want to be featured here, just send me a DM or ping me in the different channels and we can get it done. So in this first edition, we want to have as many guilds as possible here throughout all the town halls that we are going to do. So just feel free to reach out to me, and we want to give every single guild the time to be here in the next ones. So to start today, we have Funcracker here, leader and co-founder of AFIA Industries. How are you today, Funcracker?
I'm doing fine, mate. Thanks again for inviting me. And yeah, I think we have some interesting things to share with everybody today.
Okay, yeah,
How are you doing?
we have. I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Thanks for asking. So please, let's begin by you telling us what is AFIA and why is it special?
Oh, wow. We are one of the oldest guilds, exclusively focused on Star Atlas. We contain many of the OGs and all three Atlassian winners, including, of course, the supreme winner, Prometheus, who has co-founded Avia Industries with me. Besides this, we also have the top four most active players. We are super active on the Discord server, and we are all about sharing knowledge, collaboration, and cooperation. Yeah, as I said, we are uh, one of the bigger corporations out there, focused on the shipbuilding industry. We were at some point the only ones focused on this, but now there are others, but we are still the biggest. And I think if you want to have a leg up in the game, we have heaps of knowledge and we're sharing all that. We have also plenty of plans for the future, but we are not really um, broadcasting them just yet because we're actually waiting on Michael and the team to actually continue development a little further. So we also know which mechanics we can use and which not. But let me stop here because no time is short.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, man. So you did a great competition for the Star Atlas community, and it was the writing competition with Grape. Tell us a little
Yes.
bit about it, please.
Yeah, so we've been in talks with Grape for many months, and at some point, I think end of August, we got into contact again to see what kind of thing we could organize for both of our communities. And we came up with the idea of doing this short story writing competition, which really resonated with us, and we actually set it up in record time and launched it. We got 28 awesome submissions by very talented writers. You can see all these submissions on the Grape Discord. They have a channel there with all the submissions. Um, and this has really been a huge success, and we are very thankful that both you and of course Mate and Pablo stepped up to be
Yeah,
our judges of the final 10 stories. And I would love to
yeah,
hear
man.
from you. Who won? Who won, mate?
Yeah, first, please tell us where can people find the stories so they can read it. Please drop the link in the Town Hall channel
Yep,
so people can read them if they want
I'll drop the
because
link
they
for
are all
sure.
great. To be honest, like I had a lot of fun reading them and a lot of talent here.
Mhm.
So, what do you think if we announce the winners?
Yeah, please, mate, be my guest. I'm
What?
very, very curious.
Yeah, can you remind us what were the prizes for the first, the second, and the third?
That's a very good question. Yes, I can. The prizes are a huge bag of grape to begin with. Don't quote me on the exact number. But the first prize is a Pierce X5. The second prize is a X4, and the third prize as well when concerning ships. The bag of grape is 100,000 grape for the first place. 50,000 and 1,000 for third place. So yeah, a bunch of awesome tokens and some nice ships to go along with it.
Yeah. Thank you for doing this, man. So let's announce the winners.
Please do.
We start with the first one. The first
Mhm.
prize goes to Who Am I by Meow the Cat. So congratulations for
Awesome.
winning the
Congrats.
first prize. It was a great story, and I really enjoyed reading it. And I can really picture it in my head. So yeah, we had good time reading the story. And yeah, thank you for doing it, and congrats for winning the first prize. Do you want to announce the second prize from Cracker? I think I shared with you the list.
Yeah, sure. So, second prize actually goes to the story called "The Fall of the Great Paisel" by Sifoon. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Yeah, congrats, Sifun.
Congrats, mate.
Great story. All are great stories. Let me tell you before announcing the third and last prize. All are great stories, so we
Yeah.
really recommend everyone to give them a read. We
The
will be
submissions
sharing
were
the
awesome and
links.
the quality was really high.
Yeah. They were all great. So please, if you have time and if you want, go ahead and read them because they are great. And let's announce the third and last prize.
Be my guest.
The the third prize goes to The Hurt Calls Out by Boeing Wollaston. I hope I pronounce it right. So congrats, Bowen, for winning the third prize.
Awesome. Congrats, everybody. And I mean, also the people who did not win today, great stories. And we will for sure do more like this again in the future.
Yeah. Thank you, Cracker, and thanks for doing cool things for the Star Atlas community.
And thank you for judging, mate.
No problem. It was a pleasure. So we also have here the Don Kane. Welcome to Don Kane to the stage.
Hey Santi, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Thank you for joining today.
Awesome.
The Don
Yeah,
Kane is
thanks
the
for having me.
founder and leader of the Atletico family. It's a new guild, but they have been working hard, man. I can tell you. Can you tell us a little bit what is the Atletico family, if I'm pronouncing it right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are the Atlesio family, is basically how I've been pronouncing it. And we're a multicultural mafia themed DAC. Um, there's a huge emphasis on the lore because we hadn't come across any other mafia themed ones, and the structure pretty much already exists if you go online and kind of look at how mafias have been structured in the past. But basically, our whole premise is we have a primary focus on earning, and mm, when the
Yeah,
game does launch, when the game does launch, we want to make it. We want to provide an infrastructure for people who want to use this game as a primary source of income, right? So we want people, I mean, ideally, to be able to use this as their full-time job, pretty much.
yeah. Thank you for founding the guild, and thank you for all the work you have been doing.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
you did a fantastic job by creating the guild guide. Can I
Thank
ask
you.
you what made you take the decision to create it?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. So I actually found out about Star Atlas about 3 weeks ago. I saw it in a tweet thread, and it's kind of basically just consumed all of my time doing research and watching videos and looking at all the content. And it's just such a fascinating project. And I really give the Star Atlas team props for everything that they've built so far and everything that you guys are, working on right now. So I decided what guild am I going to join, and so I'm looking through the Discord and the Twitter and all that, and the guild landscape just seemed a bit unorganized to me, and so I thought to myself, well, I need to do research on these guilds because this is something really exciting, and um, I want to make sure that I choose the best guild. So I started, doing research, and I realized, I might as well just make this open source and give it to the entire community because, um, I'm sure they're having the exact same questions
Yeah,
that I'm
yeah.
having.
Yeah,
So
thank you
yeah,
for doing that. Thank you for doing that. It was
yeah,
something
absolutely.
that the community really needed. So thank you for putting it together. And
Yeah, not a
one
problem.
last question: what did you learn by doing this? What
That's
did
a
you
great
learn about Star
that's a great
Atlas and
question.
about guilds?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the biggest thing, my biggest takeaway after creating this and launching this, was, and I guess this is kind of advice for anyone who's considering launching their own guild or even current guild leaders, is if you give the community free stuff, they're going to reward you in ways you could have never have imagined. I mean, we've got 100+ Twitter followers, we've got 40 plus people in our Discord, and we just launched on Wednesday. So I mean, it's been fantastic, and we look forward to more growth in the future, and we want everybody in the community to come, check us out and see if we're a guild that kind of fits with how they want to play the game.
Perfect, perfect. So thank you very much, man. Thank you for putting the guild guide together and for now launching your guild. Congratulations.
Absolutely, thank you so much, Santi, and thank you, Michael, and thank you to the entire team for what you guys are working on. We're really excited.
Thanks, brother. Thanks. So this was the first guild time in the Star Atlas Townhall. We want to give every single guild the time and the opportunity to be featured here. So if you want to be featured in the next guild time, please feel free to send me a DM or ping me in the chats, and we will try to get it done. So now let's jump into the official Star Atlas Townhall to the start. Michael, how are you?
Hey, good, Santi. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. So people may wonder, like, we had this guild conversation, and people may wonder, what are guilds? Can you explain us like a little bit what is a guild, a Star Atlas guild?
Yeah, of course. Just maybe as a quick intro here, appreciate everyone for joining on the special session today, joining us on a Saturday. I am currently at the airport, and I have fairly limited time here, Santi. I've got to take off in about 35 minutes, so we'll try to get through all of this pretty quickly and make sure we reserve some time for Q&A. But again, do really appreciate everyone joining us. Another great audience, 850 people right now. So great to see it. Hopefully, you guys are welcome to provide us some feedback on timing for these town halls going into the future. We want to make sure that we can accommodate schedules from all over the world. We are a global product. We do, fully appreciate that we have a global audience and want to make sure that we're kind of tailoring not only our sales, which you guys have experienced in the past, but also these information sessions in the town halls for people as well. So please feel free to shoot some requests into us on some preferred times, and we'll try to mix these up going into the future. But I think it's quite thematic, Santi, and I'm glad that we were able to get a couple of guilds up here. Funcracker in particular, he's been around forever, and Afia has been around forever. And also, I missed the name, but I think it was TAF. Really cool seeing that the contribution of the guild document, and maybe more broadly speaking, just we're seeing a ton of innovation occurring all around everything that we're doing at Star Atlas, and this is what I feel is one of the most promising components of building out in decentralized ecosystems like blockchain, and also focusing on open source software, is that we are going to provide a tool set that enables people from all over the world to contribute in their own unique ways. This is not only going to assist us with our own development timelines, delivering features and functionality that people are requesting on a quicker basis, but it's also just going to rapidly evolve this ecosystem into a product that everyone gets to participate in, and everyone gets to contribute to, and everyone takes a little piece of it for themselves, right? So I think it's very powerful. And again, one of the most promising aspects of building in the fashion that we are. So with that said, to your original question, guilds, using the Star Atlas nomenclature, we consider them or call them decentralized autonomous corporations. For anyone who's been around in crypto for a long time might be aware that this was a term that really preceded the concept of a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization. And it was actually Dan Larimer who came up with this concept back in maybe 2013 or 2014. Now, Dan Larimer was the founder of ProtoShares originally, which evolved into BitShares. He was a co-founder on Steemit, and then, probably most notoriously, co-founder on EOS. And I think he's off, doing his own thing now. But nevertheless, the concept of a decentralized autonomous corporation was revealed to the world back in like 2013, 2014, which ultimately became DAOs. Now, for us, we are placing heavy emphasis on collectivism throughout the game. We want to dedicate a lot of time and resources to guilds, to guild leaders, not only in the form of providing, I wouldn't say privileged information, but early access to information with the kind of agreement in place that they will assist us with disseminating this information out to their communities. Given the speed with which we're growing the user base and again, people that have been around now for a couple of months with us will have seen the community grow exponentially. Having 77,000 people in Discord is pretty unreal, and another 140,000 on Twitter, another 40,000 or so on Telegram. That creates some unique opportunities for us, but it's also some unique challenges in being able to effectively communicate to all of those people with, obviously diverse cultural backgrounds, diverse languages. So what we want to do is place an emphasis on those people who are being leaders and stewards across the community, and deliver to them information, in somewhat of a priority fashion. Now, people have also heard me talk a bit more about this DAO infrastructure that we're working on, and the rollout of the, really it's the Star Atlas Master DAO. This is kind of the external DAO structure that we'll be using to manage design and development decision-making going into the future as the project continually decentralizes with the emission of Polis. But alongside that, we're building out this framework that will make it very easy for guild leaders to not only register their clan or their guild with us, but also receive a tool set that primarily centers around financial management of treasuries through this fully automated governance structure. So clans in the future will be able to prioritize their team members and guild members' productivity and focus on where they're actually being active across the game, as well as determining how to spend those resources that they're earning as a guild. And that might mean that they, are lending out assets to people who don't have them, similar to what Axie is doing with their scholarship model, except it will be inherent and embedded into the guild structure. And also just determining, if they should be investing in new assets, when things should be liquidated, and also getting access to and exposure to the distributions of those financial resources that are being collected by guilds. So very broadly speaking, for anyone who's new to gaming, guilds are just a collective of players that have a unified mission or vision to work together. And that's something that we want to fully support. I'll just kind of close here by saying that I've mentioned this in the past, but Star Atlas is really designed to be it's designed around aspirational wealth, right? And long-term accumulation of wealth. We don't anticipate that every single person individually would be able to pilot and own all of the largest assets in the game. When we start looking at Titan ships or motherships, they're going to sell for millions of dollars, potentially $5 to $10 million. It's very unreasonable for any individual to assume that they can own that ship. But collectively, as a guild, that is something that they can aspire to build wealth for, save for, ultimately purchase, and then have this mega structure asset that they can utilize as a home base for themselves. So I hope that's helpful, Santi. Anything else I should cover on that?
No, that's great, man. Thank you very much. So I know that you're short on time, so let's move quick in this introduction if you want. We can do like a quick overview about what happened this past week, and then we can go straight into Q&A that I know that everyone here is looking forward to it. So yeah, what do you think if we do like a quick overview about this past week?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, just a couple of major updates. Obviously, we had a nice program this week of activity. We did skip the town hall last week. We didn't take the time off. We're still very much in the trenches building. But just in terms of the rollout this week, on Tuesday, we completed the release of something that we called Project Sugarcane. But these were the final enhancements and visual UI enhancements and functionality across the existing Star Atlas marketplace, which is at play.staratlas.com. I'm sure many of you have interacted with that process of either purchasing ships or interacting with your inventory. But some of the features that we actually rolled out this week included enhanced leaderboards. So, we rank leaders based off economic value, and currently you can look at individual player values, and that will determine their rank, as well as currently faction economic value. So we're looking at not only how many players are in these factions, but what is the current economic value of all of the wallets that have selected a particular faction. Now, that was another big feature release that everybody was looking forward to, is information pages related to what the advantages and disadvantages are to each of the factions, and then the ability to commit yourself to that faction. So very cool, just updating those. I know I'm personally going in there a couple times a day just to see the growth in registrations. I also happen to know that there are many people that are holding back right now on their faction selection simply because the way economic rewards will be distributed, and this is some alpha. Sorry if I'm spoiling this for any of the members who are following this strategy, but the economic value is going to be distributed effectively proportionally across each one of the three factions. And so what that means is that in the short term, it might seem advantageous to join a faction that has more people because it will appear to be more powerful. However, the rewards that are going to be emitted and distributed across that group will then need to be divided by more people as well. And so in many cases, if you're adventurous and willing to maybe put some extra work in, you can actually join one of the factions that have less people, less resources, and maybe less of a control over the universe, and be able to earn a greater proportion of the rewards that are being distributed. So in any case, leaderboards were released, faction selection was released. You'll notice that on many of your assets now, we're revealing more of the underlying specs or stats, so additional detail. And we've also made some subtle improvements to the marketplace itself and the way that the purchasing process works across the Serum DEX integration. Just very quickly on that, again, in case anybody is not aware, we operate fully as a Web3 application. That means, connecting your decentralized digital wallet, and all of the transactions that take place are not sold directly through our inventory per se. They're actually executed on the Serum DEX, which means that any interface, any UI across the Solana ecosystem that's integrated with Project Serum can actually will automatically list that same inventory and represent those same markets where they're available for sale. Now, in addition to that, everybody that is owns one of these assets would have the ability to go participate in that sale process as well. So really, while we're launching the initial markets, the primary markets on all of these new items, as soon as they are owned, secondary markets are immediately available, which is pretty innovative. So in addition to that, every highly anticipated release of our full trailer, tons of positive feedback on that. So that's something that we have been working on for about 6 months now, and just super excited to finally get that out. And I hope that the kind of the cliffhangers in there led to some additional excitement and anticipation of what's to come for us in Star Atlas. And then on Thursday, we rolled out the 2 new ships. So we rolled out the Pierce F4 as well as the Ecos Grenader. So yeah, I mean, let me pause there. That was kind of the major releases that we had coming out this week. Yeah, and hopefully everybody's able to kind of appreciate the new improvements that are coming out. And yeah, sorry, Santi. One last thing is just that I've also mentioned this in the past, but all of this is really pre-alpha software. We are building at the bleeding edge of technology, which means, but we're also trying to release features and functionality for people as quickly as possible. Now, you all that are participating now are essentially participating in this alpha software where you indirectly are assisting us with quality assurance and kind of UAT, user testing of this software. Now, not everything is going to be perfect as we roll out. We saw some initial complications when we rolled out the Rebirth campaign back in April. We very rapidly took user feedback and improved the process, and I think we've successfully done that same thing with the rollout of the marketplace, trying to improve that process. And things will get better with the rollout of features like permissioned markets, where we can flush order books in advance of listing items, adding some additional icons onto it, so people will know, where our orders are. But I think one of the most important things that we did update was releasing the quantity of ships in advance, as well as the MSRP, or the origination price of ships, going to market. So it is very important for us that you guys are able to make informed decisions. We don't want to drive people to FOMO, but we're really just trying to build and fly at the same time.
Great. Thank you, Michael, for the overview. And if you agree with me, let's continue to do this quick. Let's
Sure.
get people into stage. And
Yeah.
so if someone has a question, raise your hand, and we'll start to let people in right now. Okay, Marindaya, welcome to the stage. How are you?
Hey, I'm good, thanks. I'm good, Santi. How about yourself?
I'm doing great, thanks.
And Michael and Santi, thank you so much for this opportunity. I mean, after the full trailer release, I have been watching the trailer over and over again for the past few days, and I gotta say, every time I watch it, I get goosebumps. This is Marindaya. I'm the co-founder of the Turkish community, Star Atlas Guild, Space Camp Coex. Michael, you just mentioned about the toolkits that you're going to supply for the guild founders. Now, I was wondering if these tools that we're going to use, will they be live once we pick once we write the organization and register the guilds? And how detailed are these toolkits? Like, when we register the organization, we'll be able to see the players, and we'll be able to see the assets, like the ships that they have, and so on and so forth. I was just wondering, how detailed is this toolkits when the organization starts? Thanks.
Yeah, great question. And welcome, and thanks for the positive feedback on the trailer. And to be honest, I mean, I watch the trailer probably once a day, and I still get goosebumps as well. So we think it's really exciting, but appreciate that positive feedback. With respect to the way that the DAX and the DAC registration is going to work, I would fully anticipate these to be highly simplified on rollout. And also, while we're discussing this early, it's not exactly the initial feature that's going to be rolled out alongside the DAO. What we're focused on, the two major priorities that we really have for the remainder of October, is the initial release of a version of ship missions, where all of those NFTs that you currently own, those ships that you've been buying, you'll be able to deploy those and start to earn Atlas off of it. That's one thing. The second thing that we're focused on is the initial release of our master DAO. And I say master DAO, this is the DAO that sits technically outside of the metaverse. If anyone that hasn't read the economic paper, highly recommend doing so. But we also have a 3-tier DAO system within Star Atlas Metaverse as well. And that starts with the faction DAOs. It moves down to regional DAOs. So these would be kind of like local clusters, local solar systems, local areas where people are operating. And then ultimately down to the decentralized autonomous clan level. And when we release that feature set, the idea is that we're going to provide you with one-click deployment of smart contracts that allow for that governance and allow for that treasury management alongside your guild registration. Now, I can't say definitively that we're going to release that DAO structure concurrently with the registration of guilds. We might hold back the guild registration until we have this in place. We are actually working with a third party on this. We're not developing it entirely internally. We're going to test out this framework with the release of the Master DAO, and through the Master DAO, people are going to be able to stake Polis, earn Polis via a mission. They'll be able to submit proposals on changes they'd like to see, and they'll be able to vote on those proposals. So that's the first feature that's going to be released, which adds functionality to Polis, and then also adding the functionality and utility to your NFTs. And we do fully anticipate that one of the initial proposals to come from that DAO is going to be the enforcement of Atlas as the payment currency across the Star Atlas portal or marketplace. That is not a decision that we're going to make. It's going to come from the community, and if you all decide that that's what you want to see, based on voting with your proportional share of polis, then it is a feature that we will implement. So I know there's been a lot of questions about that, whether or not we're going to continue accepting USDC or if we're going to, to accept Atlas. But yeah, it very likely will be an option in the future. And if the community decides that's the best route, then we will honor that decision. But yeah, plain and simple, when we get to the DAC rollout, it's essentially, you'll have a menu of different governance features that you want to include. Your guild can discuss that in advance and determine which features you want. You select those items, you click create, and the smart contract is initiated for you, and then you guys would have management over that wallet address. So I hope that helps, and again, thanks for the great question.
All right, well, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Marindaya, for the question. We also have Phoenix Dragon here. Phoenix Dragon, welcome to stage. How are you?
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. Everything you guys have rolled out in the last few months since I was on here last time is just phenomenal. And I just wanted to say that. And also, thanks, Michael. I hadn't had a chance to thank you directly for coming on the You Are the Superhero podcast. My people loved you being on there. Really awesome stuff. My question is really just about the you mentioned the rewards and the FOMO, and I've been buying ships. My friends have been buying ships. I'm curious, since the full game is still a while out, can you tell us a little more about what the reward structure is going to look like in the mini game, how that's going to be unfolding, a way for us to just kind of wrap our minds around perhaps some of our investment choices, just not I know granular details, but maybe a bigger picture of what we can look at with that.
Yeah, absolutely. There is a kind of a foundational framework that we operate within the Star Atlas economy, and that is that while rewards will be emitted, every single action within the game, almost every single action, has some cost structure associated with it as well. And so if you're operating ships, for example, you'll have to refuel your ship periodically, you'll have to repair your ship. You can upgrade items or upgrade components on your ship. And there's also kind of a food consumption requirement for your crew members as well. So the general idea with flying ships is that as you complete missions, or in this early version, which is it's pretty simplified, but the ability to deploy as a commission a fleet of ships, you will earn Atlas, and the Atlas that is earned is really correlated to the economic value, the MSRP, the origination price of the items that you are piloting or committing. So what we're really trying to do is reward based on cost initially. This will get more complex in the future, but in the short term, it's very much about determining what was the cost structure of this initially. That will determine what the rate of emission you are eligible for. And then out of that return, you're going to have to commit a certain amount of that back to purchasing items to kind of restock or restock inventory of your ship so that you can continue completing these missions. Now, what's really cool about all of these costs is that we have bifurcated the revenue streams from within the metaverse and for us as a company. I've said this many times in the past, but ultimately, as we fully decentralize, it would be possible for the community to essentially take the metaverse, vote us out as the core developer, and employ someone else that submits a proposal to become the developer of this. However, the revenue that is captured from the GDP of the metaverse ultimately flows directly into the DAO, that master DAO structure that I was telling you about. And so every time somebody spends money to repair a ship in the form of Atlas, that capital would go directly into the DAO. And then at some point in the future, DAO governors would have the ability to determine how to utilize those funds. And it could be distributed directly to all of the stakeholders. It could be used to compensate Star Atlas team to continue developing the game if that's a necessity. These items could be completely burned. if the DAO decides that it's best to reduce supply, or it could be used to kind of reinvest back into user growth, which might sound a bit counterintuitive, but to forego accepting distributions of these rewards to reinvest back in the economy. But realistically, the larger the economy gets, the greater the long-term rewards will be. So depending on a person's kind of time horizon of being involved, it's actually prudent to utilize some of those early funds to encourage and incentivize new players to join, because they will ultimately become contributors to the economy, which again flows directly into that DAO. With land, when we start to release that, land is going to have its own cost structures, including land value tax. This is a perpetual tax that disincentivizes flipping of land, because if the land is not being used in a productive capacity, it's a constant drain on the potential return of that item. So somebody would essentially be speculating on price appreciation versus the ability to produce and generate revenue off of that asset. But it'll also, have costs associated with operating your mining equipment, operating farming equipment, replacing drills, repairing items over time, stuff like this. So everything in Star Atlas has the ability to earn. It's also a truly owned asset as an NFT, but it is accompanied by operating costs. And what we envision is that at some point in the future, there will be teams, there will be guilds, and there will be individuals who are able to optimize all of these processes and actually generate higher returns than some other player. So it won't always be perfectly balanced. Individual unique skill will play a role in your ability to earn going into the future.
I love that. That's so awesome. One just quick follow up to that, and I just finished reading the economics paper, so it's so cool to get more of a vision with all this. But did I understand from one of the previous town halls that in the mini game, at least initially, like we could send like all of our ships on a mission and get greater returns? Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's kind of a simplistic formula that we're using right now, but depending on the amount of assets that you stake, and it realistically wouldn't make sense to stake anything less than 100% of your total fleet. But your return potential is based off of the original economic cost and value of the items that you've purchased. Now, that does mean that the costs associated with operating that equipment will be higher, but the income should more than offset those additional costs.
Awesome. Love the clarity. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, Ben. Thanks for the question.
Thanks, Phoenix. Great questions. We also have, first, I'm going to ask you, Michael, how much time do we have left?
Yeah, we've got maybe 15 minutes.
Okay, good. So then let me introduce Christian Dragnall. Welcome, Christian, to the stage.
Hello, Michael. Hello, Santi. Thank you for having me. I'll try to be quick. Michael, this is the first time we are managing to talk to each other, but I'll try to be brief. So I understand that there will be faction DAOs, there will be sub-DAOs for the region and for the decentralized autonomous corporations. And what I'm interested is, will there be sub-DAOs for the guild DAOs? As most people know, we are the Interstellar Alliance, which I'm founder of. We have more than 30 different communities who are under our umbrella at the moment, and we'll have more in the future. And I'm highly interested in the complete decentralization of our organization. And I think that with sub-DAOs on our guild DAO or the DAG DAO, we'll be able to decentralize properly. Will this be an option in the future?
Christian, great to finally chat with you. I think you actually have Funcracker even beat as being one of the oldest members across our Discord, and really appreciate the work that you guys do at Interstellar Alliance. So, the question that you're asking is really more long-term in perspective, so it's difficult for me to give a very accurate answer at this time. What I would say again is, while we're focused right now on that master DAO structure that allows everybody to participate, I would anticipate that we are going to start to provide utility for clan DAOs or DACs in advance of even the regional or the faction DAOs, particularly because we don't really even have that gameplay accessible, and yet we do have a lot of guilds forming. So we'll probably launch the master DAO, and then we'll put effort into getting the clan DAOs. Now, whether or not you're going to be able to sub-faction that out. I'm sure a lot of people are looking at having economic interest across all three factions, and that's going to lead to some interesting alliances. Whether or not that framework would be immediately available, I'm not sure, but if that's a feature request, it could even be a feature request that you submit as a proposal through the Star Atlas DAO when that comes out. It's certainly something that we would consider, and I think it makes a lot of sense. We are building out mechanics like faction passports, for example, that make seamless inter-faction commerce possible. So I'll just loosely say yes, it's possible.
This is great. At the moment, we are alpha tester for the squads DAOs. I don't know if you know it, but they are working on something similar at the moment. And I think in the future, the squad DAO can be integrated in the metaverse and to support this decentralization of different DAOs and making the sub DAOs. But I'll leave this for the time when I describe it more in details. Also, I have one very quick one. As everybody knows, many people are here to earn a lot of the tokens and the value that can be extracted from the metaverse. But I'm mostly focusing on the partnerships and the investments that we can bring to the metaverse. I want to bring from the physical to the metaverse the value, and to be able to expand everything from the infrastructure that we are planning to build to entire metaverse nations that we are planning to form. And I think that any more tools or something that we can have like open channel for different partnerships. I see a lot of different projects that are interested in partnering with the Star Atlas team, but they have lack of communication or it's too hard to communicate. Will there be some options for partnerships in the future and easier communications?
Well, two things on that. I mean, we do get a lot of requests every single day for some type of partnership agreement or strategic partnership or collaboration. Really inundated with it, and we just don't have the capacity to create programs with every single group or person that's looking to partner with us. But what we will be rolling out in relatively short order, it's currently in development, is an affiliate program. And there will be multiple aspects of that affiliate program that allow individuals such as yourself to be able to monetize or capture some value from recruiting people into the metaverse, educating them on how to interact with the metaverse, and otherwise just kind of growing the user base. So that will be coming soon. I will say we're also strongly considering the implementation of what we call proof of economic interest. And so because we get so many other projects that are looking to participate in some way, what we will probably be instituting is a requirement to hold Atlas or Polis, have that staked to a contract for a minimum of 1 year. They will continue to own and possess those tokens and earn any yield via staking off of those assets. But in order for us to come to any type of agreement with them, there will be a requirement for them to support the ecosystem by demonstrating that they own Atlas or Polis. So a lot more to come on that. If you have any ideas, please feel free to shoot them my way. I am very open to better understanding how we can better execute and better grow this going into the future.
Thank you very much for this, Michael. I think that this is very viable idea, and it can bring a lot of people and resources to the metaverse, which will be extremely valuable to everybody, not just to one organization or just one team. Thank you very much for this, and thank you very much for having me.
My pleasure. Thanks, Kristen.
Thanks, Christian. We also have Randcorp here in the stage. Welcome, Randcorp.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you having me up here. I know last time I had a little bit of an audio issue, and I've been really excited for the game you guys have been building. The economics and everything you guys have put out so far looks amazing. The trailer you guys dropped, as Michael stated, I watch pretty often. Looking forward to the game. My question is, we have a large scholarship program in another game, and a large chunk of assets, and I'm wondering how we bring those scholars over into Star Atlas, and like how quickly will we be able to do that and kind of lend assets to something available in the mini game or something we're going to have to wait further down the line?
Yeah. I didn't touch on it, but we also have another third-party integration that is kind of deep in the works that's related to these lending protocols that you're referring to. The lending protocols would enable people to not only deposit their NFT assets into a contract, lend those out, and generate residual income off of it, but also lend things like Atlas Pulse or USDC and generate some return off of that. What would be really cool about that model is that enables people all over the world with zero capital to start to be able to effectively take a loan, purchase an asset. That asset then becomes the collateral for the loan. These are both locked into a smart contract. And then there are payment terms. And if the user is actively engaged in playing and producing and earning Atlas, then they're able to repay that loan. If they fail to repay the loan, if they default on that, then it's quite easy to repossess the item, right? And the repossessed item would actually go to the lender of the capital to purchase the asset initially. But this empowers a whole, the whole population of the world to be able to start playing Star Atlas with $0 directly invested, and it also allows for free flow of capital who do possess it to be able to generate yield off of that. One other thing that I kind of should have touched on the last question was that not only are we seeing a tremendous amount of interest in partnering with us, but we are talking to an enormous amount of venture capital funds who are looking at finding ways to support the guilds that are going to be playing in Star Atlas. And so we'll be working on a program that allows for us to connect directly venture capital to people that are forming guilds. And you would be able to then take direct capital investment from them to purchase assets and engage in gameplay. And I think that's going to be an enormous opportunity for anybody who's forming a deck.
Yeah, that's amazing. As somebody who's looking at, we're already in talks with a bunch of people to raise capital, and to have that happen in game and have that connection and the network within the community already would be amazing. Last question before I go: utility on the posters. Kind of a personal, fun one, but future utility on the posters.
Yeah, I mean, we've loosely committed to some type of future drops. We have a lot of assets. We've got to make sure that we cycle through value proportionally. But we did deliver a lot of value to poster holders through, not only kind of the I would say price appreciation was a major component, but we all of the NFTs that were dropped as a component of that reward structure. And if I haven't said this publicly before, I mean, we significantly over-delivered value for every single one of those posters. Just looking at, say, the first poster, DOI, that we sold for $64, we actually delivered about $120 worth of ship and NFT value for that single item, and that scaled up as well as the posters got more expensive. So if you purchase DOI, you already got more than double kind of a value in return for that purchase. Plus you get to hold the poster, and we think that these things are going to be great collectibles going into the future. And, despite any short-term price volatility, it's an amazing collectible that will represent a moment in time. And it's historically captured on chain. So we will look at running more campaigns in the future to reward people for owning those assets, but I can't give you any type of timeline on that.
No worries. I just really want to give myself a reason to continue to collect sets and fill it out. And I appreciate the time.
Absolutely. Oh, and we also, everybody that held posters also got access to allocation through either Apollo X or through Radium through our ticketing systems there. But yeah, appreciate the questions. I'm a big fan of the posters as well. And, I think those will be collected as items in the future. So Santi, let's take just one more here.
Okay. Before we take Dominic's question, I would like to thank everybody who is using the Star Atlas astronaut as the profile pic. We absolutely love everyone using them. We love to see all the profile pics. So I will drop the link in the Townhall chat. Special thanks to Suhail for putting this together. And yeah, we would love to see everyone using the astronaut.
I guess I should be an astronaut, huh, Santi?
You need to put that profile pic, man, right now.
Yeah. You set it up for me. I'll apply it.
Yeah. Okay, so let's take Dominic's question. Hello, Dominic.
Hey guys.
How are you?
Good. How are you guys doing? As usual, thanks for doing this, guys. Really appreciate it. I just wanted to ask, are we going to be able to utilize and see the benefits of the various traits of the cosmetic items in the mini game For example, like the primordial glow and how it gives like more luck and crew loyalty. Will there be a chance to use that in a minigame, or is that something we'll have to wait for the real game to be launched?
I would say so. We have this iterative process of rolling out features over time. So what we want to make sure we are able to capture initially are the primary NFT assets that we've sold. So to date, we want to ensure that we're delivering value to anybody who possesses a ship. As the next phase rollout for us will be on land development, and so we'll start selling land claims, and then you'll be able to produce value off of those land claims, and then that would roll into space station construction. So orbital space stations where you can build out platforms, decks, and then those would become tools that other people could come and utilize, and you would actually be able to generate revenue off of that. So following the development of those three phases, then we would probably get back into enhancements on any of the existing the gameplay modals. So I guess I would add one final clarification there is that the ship missions that we're rolling out next will be enhanced, but they are going to kind of fall in line after orbital space station construction, where you'll get more sophisticated gameplay. But we'll certainly look at how we can add some enhanced value on anything that you own if you're able to, say, couple stake your cosmetics alongside your actual NFTs. We'll definitely look at that.
Cool. Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks, Dominic.
Thanks, Vane, Dominic. Okay, Michael, so let's close here if you don't have any extra time. And yeah, I know that you're super busy. You're about to take a plane. So yeah, thank you for joining today.
No, sincerely appreciate all of the contribution that we're seeing out there in the community. Everybody helping. I really like to emphasize this every time. I mean, we are all building this together, so it's absolutely appreciated when people help us with guiding new people into the community, with responding to questions, with delivering these guides, the development of the wiki. Helping us disseminate information is incredibly valuable for us because there's just so many people coming in, and we're very focused on building and also trying to manage this inflow of new users. But everything that you all are doing out there is it's amazing, and we sincerely appreciate it. So thanks everyone for showing up on a Saturday. We'll probably do another one of these on Friday this week. So this one was a bit short, but yeah, thanks everyone for joining, and catch up with you all soon.
Thanks, Michael, and thanks everyone for joining. We also, before we close, we are doing the raffle right now for the Twitter giveaway of the Pierce X5 and the Pierce X4. We are giving away a lot of them, so stay tuned on Twitter. We will be announcing all the winners. And yeah, power to the people.
And stick it to the man.
Bye-bye, everyone.